Hey, Sammy.
Hi.
I'm recording to the
Hi,
cloud, is that correct?
Anastasia. All right, you guys. So a couple of reminders as we're getting things rolling. So we have a chat that's going to go on the entire time while we're on the call. So you will see a chat button on your screen. And I just want to remind everybody, so when you go to send a chat, it'll say to, and then it'll say everyone, or you can like drop it down to a specific person. I'd like everyone to keep their comments in their chat open to everyone, because what we want to do is make sure that everyone gets to see you, because for example, if you have a question and you think you can send it like just to me so I'll see it, chances are I'm not going to see it while I'm talking to you guys. So you want to go ahead and send it to everyone so that they can all see what the questions are. We're going to do our best to get questions answered immediately. And if that's something that we can just answer in the chat, we will. If we need to bring it like vocally out to everyone, then Caitlin will let me know. And then if we have questions that come up that we've not been able to answer while we're on the phone call, we will get to those in a live video session that we'll do on our team page after the call is over, over the next few days. So, Caitlin, how are we doing with all that? Or Mike, do you have any particular advice? Okay, so I'll go ahead and start rolling with the call, you guys. So this is what's going on tonight. So we're going to talk about being able to get a brand new distributor started and ready to roll and selling their first programs out the door, because that's definitely, I mean, that's the whole point of them joining the business, right? They're ready to help people. They're ready to put a little bit of cash in their pocket. And so tonight's topic is all about how do you get started from day one? What are the things that you can do immediately to be able to start gathering clients? So the first thing I'm going to do, though, is introduce you to myself, just in case there's people on the call that don't know me. So I found Herbalife Nutrition 9 years ago. Before that, I had never even heard of Herbalife. So what happened was I was on what in my family was considered a typical life career path, which was throughout school, I worked really, really hard to get great grades so that I'd be able to go to a top university. And I was basically expected to get an engineering degree. And so that was just something that would be considered a career that I'd be able to have forever, be very secure. So that's exactly what I did. And I got that engineering degree, and I graduated at 21 years old, and I immediately had a job that paid really well. And then I went out into the workforce, and at first everything seemed really awesome. So making good money, and the career was glamorous in the way that I was traveling full time for a living. So at first, like, flying first class and, staying in nice hotels and rental cars every week and all that, it seemed glamorous. And then it got tired after only a few years. And I was flying up to 250,000 miles a year. So I was living in North Carolina at the time. I'm working in California for years on end. I am flying out there every single week and back. So life was crazy. And in my well, of course, I mean, I'm working like up to 80-hour work weeks for corporate America, plus travel. But then in my like spare time, I was actually taking online nutrition classes because my secret passion was in nutrition. And so one day I just got, the mindset, like, why am I not looking for a way to be local somewhere and also be able to be in the nutrition field? So when I started to look around, I actually found an ad on Craigslist, and I had never been on Craigslist before. So it was just kind of an awesome happenstance. And I saw an ad for wellness coaches, and I went into a nutrition club. It was called Wow Nutrition in Asheville, North Carolina. And I met my Herbalife Nutrition sponsors, Mike and Tara Kirkpatrick. And I was there for a business meeting that day, but of course I also got to try my first aloe, raspberry tea, a shake that tasted like a Snickers bar, and then a couple of bites of a protein bar to try that out. And I loved the way everything tasted. And then by the end of the hour or so that we were talking, I remember my foot bounced on the ground because I had all this energy from the tea, and I was just falling in love with the products. But meanwhile, I was intrigued by the concept of the business. I didn't really understand everything, but I loved the idea of the nutrition club that I was sitting in. It's like a place where you can bring a healthy community together and, and just really get to interact with people, sell them single serving, portions of our, amazing nutrition products. And I love that idea. So the first thing, of course, I had to do was make sure that I believed in the products and the products worked. So I started on an advanced Herbalife nutrition program. I lost 7 pounds in 2 weeks, which was impressive because I had already been trying to diet and exercise on my own. And I was already in technically a healthy weight range. So I was blown away by the products, and I immediately started to wellness coach part-time. In my first month profit, it was $500 in my pocket. The second month that doubled to 1,000. And I spent 2.5 years being a part-time wellness coach out of my sponsor's nutrition club, being very, very happy and having absolutely no mindset that I was ever going to own my own club or do anything like that. Well, it's funny how things change. So after those 2.5 years, I realized that I just was really ready to be part-time and take this opportunity to the max that it could be for me. So at that point, I moved to Greenville, South Carolina, where I did not know anyone. And I opened NutriZone, which is the nutrition club I still operate 6.5 years later. And you guys, what's so awesome is that now I'm designing my life because I didn't want to travel. I wanted to live close. My nutrition club and my awesome home are 90 seconds away from each other. And I'm getting to love what I do every day instead of dreading going to work and, in just kind of that corporate grind. And I really do. I love being at NutriZone every day. And so this is the type of opportunity that we have for people, meaning they can take that part-time opportunity, or they could even turn it into the more full-time opportunity. You guys, and at this point, I'm able to earn more than I did back when I was engineering. And so that is $15,000 a month right now, which is amazing. But the cool thing with Herbalife is technically there is no cap, and we just get to keep helping people. So like I say, tonight, I really want to talk to you guys about what is it when you get started. And so I really wanted to boil it down to keep it simple for you. There are so many amazing ways that you can take these products out to the marketplace, but I wanted to be able to, to keep it simple for you guys tonight. So I'm going to boil it down to about 7 methods that I think that you can use right away. And I just want to remind everyone that you do get to, if you ask questions in the chat, you get like points towards being able to win our raffles at the end of the month. So just a reminder to be doing that if and when good questions come up for you. So the basics of when someone gets started in Herbalife Nutrition as a distributor or wellness coach is use, wear, talk. You're going to hear that forever. You've probably already heard it a bunch of times. So the concept is you're going to use Herbalife Nutrition products. You're going to, and therefore get a result on those products. You're going to wear the button / the brand of Herbalife Nutrition. And then you're going to talk to people about it, right? So I always say, you have to have a certain amount of ability to be outgoing enough to speak to other humans in this business. And most of us think that's like probably the coolest part because, working with people, you are really going to get to be able to impact their lives, even with something so simple as like their first drink of tea. Like I said, just feeling that energy by the end. So basically, we're going to go through some methods because what is the point of that? What are you trying to do as you first get started? You're trying to create a conversation, right? That's the end all be all. That's why that's why you're putting yourself out there. That's why you might have the button on or a t-shirt on that you might be, as you're using the products and things, you basically are looking for somebody to be able to ask you, right? Of course, the option for you to be out there like actively trying to speak to people is one option, but really you're also trying to open yourself up for business and for the concept that someone might even approach you. I would say at the very beginning, it's much easier when someone asks you like, hey, what's the Herbalife Nutrition thing all about? Or hey, what are you doing? As opposed to some people at the beginning don't feel quite as comfortable initiating those conversations. So how do you do that? How do you create those conversations? So we're going to talk through these 7 basic ways tonight. So number 1 is going to be put on a button. Okay. You guys, good news, there are lots of buttons to choose from. So if there are some you feel more comfortable with at the start, that's totally fine. So we have like the Lose Weight Now, Ask Me How classic button. We have, you know, the iHeart Herbalife Nutrition buttons. We have Herbalife Wellness Coach buttons, right? That we have like Get Fit Now, Ask Me How kind of buttons. Ask me about my 3-day trial. There are a lot of buttons, okay? So don't think that one has to be yours. So figure out which one you like the most. So number one, write down, put on a button, and we're going to come back to each of these topics. Number two, you can write down using branded clothing / objects. Okay, so there are websites that we get to use to be able to order like Herbalife Nutrition branded clothing. And also sometimes within our team and stuff, we create things as well, of course. So clothing is one option. Also, don't forget about all the different kinds of, you know, like your supplement boxes, your mega water bottles, your shaker cups. Thank you, Mike. Yeah, you guys, like there's so much stuff. It's crazy. I mean, and as you stay in Herbalife for a while and you go to different events and stuff, you get all kinds of branded stuff. I mean, I have like so many different styles of bags and mugs and cups and this and that. So it's really, really easy to stay branded, I promise. So that was number two, is to use branded clothing or objects. Number three, using your products in front of other people. That is like a whole method, right? Because like some people might say, hey, when I go to work, I can't wear this, or I can't do that. I can't wear a button or whatever, and I have a uniform. But like you're still able to like usually consume some sort of beverage or food in front of people. So therefore having, having some sort of shaker cup or bottle, or even if it's a disposable cup, like from a nutrition club or whatever, you can still be consuming the products around these folks. So using your products in front of other people is number three. Number four is social media, you guys. So social media is a way that you can start to show people what you're doing. So it's basically, using the stuff, just everything we just talked about. So using the products and wearing the brand, you can do that in front of so many more people by doing it through your social media. So that can be Facebook, that can be Instagram, that can be Snapchat. But number four is social media is going to be a great way to be able to open the conversation for people to, to ask you questions. Number five, probably my favorite ever, is get banging results. Okay. So, so this is something that you might have already started getting results before you even became a wellness coach or a distributor, right? So most people, I would argue, in Herbalife Nutrition today, actually, I know this is a fact just from being at events, right? So way more than 50% of people usually start off using the products and they're getting results. And then the reason they're interested in the business is because they got those results. So getting those banging results is definitely a great conversation starter. And I'm sure you guys know about that before I even like launch into kind of some training on that in a little bit. So that's number five, get your banging results. Number six, invitations to a nutrition club. And I say that because I think pretty much everybody on this phone call probably is local to a nutrition club. And if you're not, you can totally, cross this one off your list. But invitations to a nutrition club are a very strong way when someone is brand new. And I'm going to go into details on that in a bit. But so number six, invitations to a nutrition club. And number seven is going to be your list of 100, okay? So we all know tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of people. These days, you will realize that because, you probably have thousands of people on social media alone that you know, even though when I say a list of 100, it first sounds intimidating. There are so many people that you come across. You're thinking like, where do I stop and pump gas, or where do I go to the dentist, or who are people that I see on the regular basis. So number seven is going to be your list of 100. So now you guys, we're going to go back through each of the topics and we're going to talk a little bit more about what you're going to do with that topic and what your goal for that topic is. Okay. So number one thing was button response, okay? And I already went over how there's a lot of different types of buttons. So I'm just gonna go over some of the basics and then you can kind of extrapolate what I say out to like whatever other button. And if you have questions, you can always drop them in the chat, or you can definitely ask your sponsor as well. So if you're wearing a lose weight now, ask me how button, you will, you probably have heard before something like someone says, oh, hey, how do you lose weight? And an automatic response can be something like, oh, are you curious or are you serious? Okay, so that's going to be something that you've probably heard before, or if you haven't, you would. Now, what I'm going to say is, it doesn't really matter what you say. So if that doesn't roll off your tongue, because personally, that does not roll off my tongue. That's not my auto response. My automatic response is something much more like, oh, do you know somebody that's looking to lose weight? I love that response personally, because I'm not going to assume that that person themselves wants to lose weight, whether they look a little fluffy to me or whether they look seriously overweight. I still don't want to assume that, because like maybe they don't want to lose weight, or maybe they are just being curious with me because they're just standing next to me in a grocery store line. So my auto response, if you like it, write down specifically, oh, do you know someone that's looking to lose weight? So for me, if that's something that you can just practice as an automatic response, that's a real easy thing to say, because then depending on what they say, then you can go from there, because probably, everybody knows someone that wants to lose weight. So they're more than likely going to say, well, yeah, I do. Or they're going to say, yeah, yeah, of course, or my mom, or whatever. And then, so what is your desired outcome in this conversation? So I would say if you're standing somewhere and this is someone that you don't know, some possible desired outcomes could be to exchange some sort of way of contact. So you might have created some inexpensive business cards. You might have a nutrition club invite on you. You might be able to get them to like follow you, or you can follow them on a form of social media, because that creates another contact point with you and that person, so you can follow up in the future and they can follow up in the future. I think back in the day we did a lot of like phone number exchange, which is totally still possible if that feels comfortable for you. Like, hey, give me your phone number and we'll book an appointment to talk. But I really think these days most people are comfortable maybe exchanging like, hey, I'm a wellness coach, so just follow me on social media, I'll get back with you. Also, with like the Get Fit Now, Ask Me How, or with like the Herbalife wellness coach button, I think a really great response would just be to tweak that. Instead of, oh, do you know someone looking to lose weight? I'd say something more like, oh, do you know somebody that's looking to get healthier or to get more fit? So basically for me, that's just a really easy way to respond. And I might tweak it depending on, what button they're asking about. So that's your button responses, some of your basic button responses, and the outcomes that you're probably looking for. So, if you're like at the store that's right next to the nutrition club, it might make a whole lot of sense to give them an invitation. If you are out of town somewhere and the nutrition club is not close, that wouldn't make any sense. So either the business card and or definitely, getting that follow or that friend on social media would be your best outcome. Number 2 was the using branded clothing and objects in front of other people. Okay, so the goal with that is for them to ask you, right? So it would be for them to be asking you, hey, what is that? Or what's going on with this? And so what your response is going to be A, how incredible you feel, and or B, your amazing product results that you've already gotten, right? Because you want to take advantage. You probably don't just want to say like, oh yeah, like it's my breakfast, or like, oh, it's a shake, right? Ideally, like if you're drinking, it's like, oh my gosh, it's this energy tea and it makes me feel incredible and I have so much energy and I nap less in the afternoon. Or it might be, oh man, it's this, caramel mocha latte flavored breakfast shake that is actually good for me and helped me lose 5 pounds last week, right? So I can't tell you exactly what your response is going to be, but it's going to be something similar to that, okay? So they're going to ask because you're doing, because you're, you're using the products in front of them, or you are, drinking out of that cup or whatever. And those are the kind of responses. So your desired outcome is, it's going to be one of a couple things. So it might be to actually, get this into a conversation where you're offering them a program. because this more than likely is going to be somebody that you know, probably somebody in your warm market. This probably will be somebody who, you know, your coworker because you're bringing your stuff in there, your family member because you're, you know, you see them, you know, when you're just hanging out or whatever, you know, or your friends. Again, you guys meet up to go do something and you bring your stuff along with you. Okay. So offering that, like, I mean, because what's going to happen, like if you tell them how great you're feeling, or you talk about how you lost 5 pounds, you would be able to, you know, you might be able to funnel that directly into, hey, if you're interested, you know, I've got this, blah, blah, blah. What I'm going to do at the end of this phone call is I'm going to go over some of the programs with you. So I'm not going to go into programs right this second, but also you can invite them into the club. So if you have, you know, if you're drinking something from the nutrition club when they ask, then that's something that you can do, is give them an invitation to invite them. Okay. So I've kind of been answering the number 2 and number 3 at the same time right now, you guys. So number 2 is using your branded clothing and objects, and also using the products in front of people. So so these responses and these common outcomes are going to be the same for these two. So so I'm going to reiterate. Tell them how amazing you feel, right? And energy is so big out there in the world, so talking about that is huge. So never discount the fact that even if you're brand new, and the best thing you can say is, you know, I've been drinking this stuff and now I feel amazing and I have all this energy, okay? And then the goal or outcome desired would be either to, you know, create an invitation to then, like, you know, come to the nutrition club or sit down to talk about a program, okay? Number 4 is social media, okay? So the first thing I want to start off with is this really cool thing. I was preparing for tonight and I was watching some videos. Now, herbalife.video.com, Caitlin, if you'll drop that in the chat, herbalife.video.com, you would log in using your username, but it has great videos out there. And I was watching this one from Garen Jones today, who's just an amazing President's Team member, and he was talking about, you know, how much we all hate ads, right? He was like, if you were watching your favorite TV show and 80% was ads and 20% was the show, I mean, you would lose your mind. So the idea is, on your social media, don't be that guy. So you want to show like 80% of your life, and then 20% of the time you can kind of plug in something that's more like an ad for actually, like, you know, a specific product or something. Now, that doesn't mean that you're not incorporating Herbalife into a lot of your posts, but it might just be like, this happens to be sitting in front of me or next to me when I take a cute picture with my friends somewhere, right? That's incorporating Herbalife, but not like spewing an advertisement, right? To me, an advertisement is much more like, here we have this new product, it's called Immune Essentials, and you should try it for your immune system over the cold season. Like, that would be something that you can do when a new product shows up, but only when you have built like 80% of your page to just be like a very, very friendly feeling Herbalife incorporated life stuff, okay? So it's all about quality, I would say, and not necessarily quantity in terms of your, you know, your specifically Herbalife posts. So feel free, like, you know, posting your cute dogs and your kids and, you know, your activities and your exercise and all those great things, but make sure that that you're not just constantly sounding like you're an advertisement, because people will, you know, will want to fast forward you, right? Okay, so what is the goal on social media? It's to strike interest, okay? So taking pretty photos and incorporating them the way we talked about. And you know, and then having that invitation once in a while for them to ask you about what you're doing. And sometimes people are gonna ask anyway. And of course, within social media, if you're you know, if your sponsor or your team's doing like 21-day shake challenges and stuff, those are the kind of things you can leverage on social media, but we're not going to train about all that stuff tonight. That'll be on different phone calls. So that's your social media. Then number 5 was get banging results, okay? Which again, like I was saying, is probably fairly self-explanatory, but basically you want to get your best result in the shortest time possible. Best result, shortest time, everyone will care, okay? If you lose 5 pounds in like 6 months, I mean, that's amazing, but that may not attract as much attention. Now, I should say now, I mean, if you only have 5 pounds to lose and actually you're working on getting fit, that might be really cool. But my point is, if you have 50 pounds to lose and you lose 5 in 6 months, not that many people may be hitting on that particular result. But you lose 5 pounds in your first week and you go on to lose 50 pounds in, you know, a few months, then, I mean, obviously everyone's going to notice. And that makes your job really easy. So if you're sitting going like, how do I get people to want to ask me? Well, then get your best result, the best result, shortest time possible, and they will be like beating your door down, I promise you. But you have to really want it in order to do that. So go ahead and tap into your deep why, get really committed, stick to your program, get those results, and then you will definitely have business starting. So, and I would like to add to that, I wrote also, especially in the holidays, right? So if you do that right now, you'll blow everyone's mind because most people are going to start to put on some weight right now, okay? So your goal out of you getting great results and people asking is definitely to get them right on a program. Because like if they're asking because they want to lose some weight, I would say there's really no middleman there whatsoever. So that's why this is like the best method ever. Because like, yeah, if they want those results, I mean, you want to go ahead and get them on an at-home program, 2 shakes a day and the whole 9 yards very quickly. Okay, number 6 is invitations. Okay, so I added this one even though my goal was to try to keep you mostly in your warm market during this time. But here's the deal, like if you love the nutrition club that's down the road and you're there all the time, like it's going to be a really easy way for you to invite. Why? Because you don't need to do or say much of anything, right? So if you just happen to be out somewhere and you're talking to anybody anywhere and you absolutely adore going to blank nutrition every morning to get your blueberry muffin shake, there's no reason that you can't just say something. And you don't even have to put yourself in the mix like, hey, I'm a wellness coach inviting you to this place. You can literally just say, oh my gosh, have you been to Hendersonville Nutrition to get a blueberry muffin? It's amazing. And they gave me some free coupons. Do you want one? Right? So even when you're brand new and you don't feel like you're not an owner, you're not working behind the bar, you're not a partner there, you're not anything, but you do want to start getting some cold market interest up, that is definitely something you can do. You don't even, like I said, you don't have to say anything complicated, but if you're just excited about the place you go, then you can definitely keep some coupons on you and just be able to offer one to somebody. So the goal there is just to get some people going to the club with invitations that have your name on them. Okay. And then our final number is number 7, which is your list of 100. Okay. So this is awesome. Like I said, you just think about anybody that you're running into on a daily basis. When you first get started, you just want to mind dump. And I mean, you can think about the course of your whole year and think, who do I see? So it can be, like I said, just people at all the local markets that you go to. Maybe there's like a few nice people that check you out at the same grocery store every time you go, or like you go to the eye doctor once a year or whatever. I mean, well, you would just want to mind dump everybody that you might run into. And then if you're struggling, you can definitely pop over to your social media and start scrolling because there's a million people that you know on there. So you're going to write a list of 100 names. Next to it, you're going to write down what they might be interested in. So at the very beginning, a lot of people are nervous to talk about the business, but if you have someone on there, like your personal trainer or somebody that might be interested in the business, you can write that down. But you can be thinking about different products and stuff. Excuse me. So this person might be interested in weight loss. This person might be interested in just a healthier breakfast because I know they stop every single day and get a Starbucks or whatever. This person might be interested in some immune support because they're a teacher and the kids are making them get colds or whatever all throughout the year. So you're going to write down something they might be interested next to it. And then you're going to work on how many people a day can I reach out to of my 100. Okay. This is very simple because once you get some auto things written down, you can copy and paste, although you do want to personalize it. Let me give you a really good example. Okay. Pick out the people in your list of 100 of people that are actually local and, hypothetically, I think almost everybody has a nutrition club they can go to here. Now, if you don't, technically you could do this in your own kitchen. But here's an example of what I might say. This is Aunt Sally I wrote down, right? So you'd be like, hey, Aunt Sally, I just started a brand new part-time job as a wellness coach. And in order to get trained, I need to practice doing a wellness profile on 10 people. So what I need is about 30 minutes of your time and you're going to get a free breakfast or lunch. So do you think that you might be able to help me out with that? That is a really simple invitation. And if you're sending it to the right people that are close to you, they're probably going to say yes, right? I mean, they want to help you out. You're not asking them to buy anything. You're asking them to practice on them. Now, number one, you really do want this practice. But number two, what if the person does happen to fall in love with the shake or tea or whatever it is that you have them sample, right? So that is one of the simplest ways to do it, is to write down a simple message like that. But basically, you're going to go through that list, and let's say your goal is 10 a day. So you want to reach out to 10 of those people on that list of 100 every day and send them a message of some sort or an invitation. Remember, you can't put a picture of the invite to a nutrition club on your regular social media, but you can actually send that to someone. So again, if you say something like, and this is just like, your college buddy that lives down the road, something like, hey, Mary, I just started this part-time job as a wellness coach. I'm really excited. And the cool thing is they let me invite in up to 10 people a day to get a free shake at this place. It's amazing. There's like 40 flavors. You want to come check it out. And then you could like send a picture of the invitation. Okay. So like, don't be overthinking it. These can be very, very simple, messages. And once you have one shaped that sounds like you, then you can copy and paste that to other people. Right. But again, I mean, if you haven't talked to these people in a long time, I would definitely recommend like warming up things, right? I mean, you can, go back and forth and chat and catch up on life before you feel like you're just, kind of sending this like cold random invitation. So that's just another piece of good advice. So what is your goal? So your goal is to get your practice wellness profiles done, but also to get more people, introduced to the products and trying and sampling. Awesome. Okay, so my final thing to close up the phone call tonight is what program, right? So I've mentioned, obviously your whole goal here is to get people started on a program. Now, when you first get started, I want to introduce like some of the smaller programs because sometimes people feel more comfortable with that. So for example, the trial packs are just an awesome $20 program, and that's a 3-day trial. But we also have a lot of people that love the 6-day trial. So if you hear a lot about the 6-day Eat Clean challenges, that's basically the concept of selling 2 trial packs because they can do 2 shakes a day for 6 days. So that's a really cool program. That's a $40 program. And then of course they go up from there. So my best advice is, you are usually going to sell what you started on, right? So what you want to do is memorize the pricing structure of what A, you're most comfortable with, but B, what you started on, and probably have it broken down to a daily consumption cost as well as that overall number. Okay. So like for me personally, I like to put the number out there for them to be able to, like, this is my method. I'll put it out there for them to drink 2 shakes a day every day for a whole month. I don't mess around with a lot of the 3-day trials until they say they're not ready for 30 days. That's my personal opinion, but please listen to your sponsor or do what you're comfortable with. So I will always pitch 30 days of 2 shakes a day for weight loss. And then I will back down from there if that's not possible for them. Okay. So what I'm inviting everyone to do is I'm going to drop like an overview of our price list of programs into our team chat. And Mike, I was going to recommend that you and Tara, because I talked to her about this earlier today, like you guys drop one into yours. Because first of all, like we're South Carolina and we may promote specific programs. And then in North Carolina, there might be a little bit of a different tax number or whatever. But so you guys can look forward to seeing that afterwards. So everything for us is broken down in there, from like the 3-day trial to just a basic set of shake mix to like month supplies of quick start, advanced, ultimate programs, 1 or 2 shakes a day and all that stuff. So I'm definitely going to drop that for you, and you can look for that from your sponsor. I hope and assume that most people on this phone call already have a price sheet, so that you probably do already have access to that. But just for ease, I think it's really, really smart to have it on your phone. So that's where like this picture is going to come in handy. But like I say, go back to whatever you started with or what your favorite products are, and you probably want to have those prices memorized and or saved on your phone and be able to break that down to a daily cost. So, for example, I can say with confidence that at full retail price, if I'm talking to someone that's come into my nutrition club, I can tell them you can drink 2 shakes a day for less than what you're coming in and spending on one meal here. and like, right, it's like, I mean, how could they not be interested in potentially considering like taking that next step if they're serious about, you know, doing their weight loss program? So so that kind of lingo are really smart things for you to be able to memorize too, if there are ways that you that you're going to feel more comfortable talking to people. Because what I find is sometimes, like if you just send a price tag, say it's a $210 for this program, they might come back to you like, whoa, I mean, I can't afford that. But what you want to be able to do is say, okay, but listen, let's break that down to a per day cost. So that is, you're getting, you know, you're for $7 a day, you're getting 2 meals, you're getting a metabolism booster. So you want to be able to explain the actual value of that. And if you've done a wellness profile with the person, you also have a sense of how they're eating now. So you can definitely make comparisons like, oh man, you go to Subway on most days to get something for lunchtime, you're buying, you know, this and this and this, that's like $10.50. And for that, I could have you on like a full ultimate program for weight loss, including 2 of your meals every day, you know? So these are the kind of things that will be helpful for you to memorize. So if tonight's phone call was helpful for you tonight, we have been recording, so then you can watch it again, take some even more notes on some of those catchphrases that I'm talking about. And with that, you guys, Caitlin, do you want to unmute and tell me if we have any questions we should answer tonight?
I think we pretty much covered them all. Megan had a good one about what are some good ways to have a shake party and what things we would have at a shake party, but we might have that already in the topic for another call. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I would say that shake parties are probably a whole separate thing, but that is a great question. And we will put that on the docket to be able to do, you know, a whole conversation about that. So thank you. Okay, so I'll open up for anybody. Does anybody want to unmute and ask a question tonight? Okay, wonderful. That is no problem. So what you can do is, if you do come up with a question, you are free to message me, or you can go back into the Herbalifers team page on Facebook, and on my video, on like the live video that I did the other day, you can place a comment there with a question. And what I'll do is make sure that, like I said, I answer any of the questions that you have remaining before next week's team call. So I'll do like a live little training on anything that you guys need. So with that, you guys, yeah, like I say, feel free to rewatch this, take notes, and then ask any questions. But remember all of your main methods of when you first get started. You want to wear your button, wear branded clothes. You want to use your products in front of other people. You want to leverage social media, get your banging results, have invitations to your closest nutrition club on your person at all time, and create that list of 100 with your message that you want to send out to people. And we can't wait to talk to you next week. Thank you so much.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Great call.
Good night, guys.